Welcome back, guys. This is Art Spokes, and it's another week of talking about art. Today, what we're doing is we're going to head out to Dallas, Texas, home of Dallas Cowboys, the Von Erichs, if you're a fan of wrestling. We're going to go to the Nasher Museum of Art and take a look at some sculpture by an artist named Roni Horn. So, let's hop on the bike and take a look at this show. Alright guys, for almost 4 decades, that's 40 years of working, American artist Roni Horn has created a body of work that encompasses sculpture, drawing, collage, photography, and artist books. For this show that we're going to take a look at, she's installed 8 large cylindrical cast glass sculptures, and the works in this show are created through a very labor and time intensive process. The works require 3 to 4 months to complete just one. Her sculptures often borrow from the visual languages of minimalism. What the hell is minimalism? Minimalism emerges in New York somewhere in the 60s, and it's a reaction to artists who felt that the current artwork that was going on at the time was becoming very stale and academic. And this is what happens in every art movement or every art revolution. The artists that are now look at what has happened previously and go, you guys were a bunch of whatever, right? We're not doing that. We're going to try something new. And then we move on. In reality, there's an ebb and a flow to all these things. And what was unfashionable eventually becomes fashionable again. Just like with clothes, just like with haircuts, you name it. It's this cycle. As we walk in the Nasher galleries, her sculptures, you'll see, will be infused with light that are calling attention to their volumetric forms. They're also reflective and translucent because she's using glass as a material. Okay, as we enter into the Nasher, we're going to go into the room where these sculptures are. And as we're walking in, you'll see that the sculptures are kind of distributed along the space, and glass objects made in different colors that have this slight glow to it based on how light is entering the room. These sculptures, each one of these blocks weighs 10,000 pounds. 10,000 pounds. Think about that. Just moving a piece of glass weighing 10,000 pounds. The insurance to just hope you don't screw up one of these as you're moving it must be outrageous. Guess how much each one of these sculptures is worth? The gallery attendant told me. Now, I could be wrong, but I could have sworn she said each one of these blocks is worth $60 million. 60. But as you walk through these, you know, you really do get a feel for their presence, because it takes up a lot of space. You could feel the weight, visually feel the weight, which is a nice play. You know, you got glass, which we tend to think as a light substance, but in this mass, it really becomes visually heavy. Now, when you get up on top of the glass, it's actually interesting because it almost drops you down into a cavern. It's solid, the whole block is solid, but you can see through from the top, and it looks like a cavern. And now, mind you, her background is, she is heavily influenced by Iceland, because she went there, I believe, to study while in school and stuff, and she's gone back several times. So then all of a sudden, as I'm looking at these objects, I was like, well, these glass things, could they be references to glaciers, and are the importance of glaciers within the world ecology? So I was wondering if there was, some references going on with that. Overall, the show itself, with the light, it's probably like I wasn't able to see it in the daytime the way it's intended. So, these objects weren't glowing as much. They were glowing simply from the ambient light in the room. So it was a different kind of feel than what I imagine it would be during the daytime. But the objects themselves, they were impressive. They had a visual weight to them. They had mass, and they were, very nice to look at. The few things I didn't like with it, remember I always tell you what I liked and what I didn't like. Remember, it doesn't matter what I think. I'm simply giving you my opinion so that as you go look at work, that you could arrive at your own opinion. There are no wrong opinions. It's whatever you feel and think about it, all right? Because it's your opinion, right? It's not objective fact. Like if you were to say, this hand is made out of steel. Well, no, you're wrong, right? What I found problematic with the show is, this work is so labor intensive and takes so long to cast these objects in glass. And it looks like she only had 1 or 2 molds because the forms themselves looked almost identical in shape. And I was a little, like, wow, you had this great material. You clearly had the facility to make these objects. And why not explore the form a little bit more, right? Why make all the forms exactly the same? So that part I went, I think you probably could have pushed that a little bit more. Now, I don't know. I haven't read her statement to know exactly what she's up to. So this is all from a blind look, right? The next thing, and the most impressive thing for me, was the looking in. And what was weird is, as you're looking in, because it's pretty high, you have to either, tiptoe, have someone hold you up or something to look in. And I got busted so many times trying to look in because they were like, don't mess with that $60 million sculpture. And I was like, but I gotta see! So anyway, guys, that's my thoughts on this show. It's worth seeing. It is worth seeing because it is an impressive material that she's using, because it's glass. It's fragile, but in this case, it's powerful. Alright guys, let's get out of here. Thank you again for visiting my channel. I hope you enjoyed this little blurb about Roni Horn and her work. I hope, if nothing else, you got to see some new work that you hadn't known existed before. Until next week, peace and love to you, and keep on keeping on.